What's good, fight fans? Welcome back to another episode of Combat and Kick It. You already know, it's your host, Bando. We are back at it to discuss and talk about Israel Adesanya versus Joe Pyfer. Joe Pyfer got it done. Good performance by Joe, but at the same time, it was a good performance by Izzy with some mistakes and some stuff that we have to talk about. That's what we're here for. So let's waste no time. Let's get into it. Let's smoke. So, I didn't watch the entire card, but I started at the Julian Erosa versus Larry and Douglas fight. Them boys were throwing. They were throwing. Only intention on each end was to put the man to sleep. They were both swinging with bad intentions, right? But when that's happening, someone got to go to sleep. Someone got to go to sleep. And Julian Erosa is the one that went to sleep. He got tagged. I mean, this dude was piecing him up. Julian Erosa was trying to stay in there, but once he started getting pushed back towards the cage and stuff, taking the damage, he wasn't escaping. He wasn't getting out of that. So, it was fun for the few minutes that it lasted. It was a first round KO, but they were swinging right off rip. You move on to another first round finish. Michael Chiesa retires in the octagon, getting a nasty submission win over Nico Price after getting spiked on his head too. He got spiked on his head and still was able to still find position, get the W, get the submission, get the win. And great way to go out for the retirement. He got a nice little retirement package. I'm pretty sure Nico Price retired too. I feel like somebody said that. I'm not sure if that's exactly what happened, but I feel like somebody said something about Nico Price retiring too, which not the best way to go out on a retirement. You got one person going out on a high, the other one going out on a low. You know, so I mean that kind of sucks on Nico Price's end. But Michael Chiesa needed to go out on a win. He has that type of vibe, type of career. He needed to go out on a win, and that was a great win, great way, good finish. First round, call it quits. The Thunder's cheering out here for Michael Chiesa. You feel me? No, this storm we're having right now is wild. Hella lightning, loud thunder. Loud thunder. It's the same thunder. You know, it's the same thunder you feel when someone like Alexa Grasso puts a shot pinpoint down the middle and puts you to sleep, and then proceeds to put you in a chokehold and keeps you asleep. Now, look, listen. I thought Alexa and Macy was going to be a good fight. They fought before. They were running it back. Thought it was going to be a good fight. Macy tried to put the pressure on. Macy tried to be the aggressor in this fight. And I don't think that's the best move against somebody like Alexa Grasso, who's got the hands that she has. And, man, she showed that. Now, the person I have to give the most praise and the most props to in this entire fight was referee Mike Beltran. He got in there so fast, so quick. He noticed that one was a bad one. Macy, it was weird too, because not only did Macy get caught with the shot, she spun around, right? So like Alexa couldn't even see that she basically knocked her out. She, as far as she knows, she just dropped her. So she's gonna go for the finish. She lands one little shot and then gets the rear naked. So she's going for the finish. Already had the fight won. And Mike Beltran saw it, got in there quick enough, and he basically saved Macy Barber, because that could have got real out of hand if Macy Barber was stuck in that chokehold for any longer. I mean, that would have been very dangerous, and she was out for a good minute too. She was really out. So good work on Mike Beltran's part. Good win by Alexa Grasso, and always good to see when someone gets knocked out like that. It's always good to see them get back up. You know, and obviously you don't want to see anybody. We love the violence when it's going on, but in reality, none of us want to see somebody get so badly hurt that they don't make it home to their family type of thing. Like, you don't want that. You want to see them still be good at the end of the fight and everything like that. But, yeah, no, that was a bad one. That was a rough one. That was probably one of the worst women's knockouts I've seen, Just because the way it was, Macy was out, man. She really was out. Like sometimes as a fight fan, like if you've been following boxing for a long time or anything, like that it's combat sports. This is dangerous. Anything can happen in this. Anything can happen. And you're talking about cutting off oxygen to the brain in ways and blood flow and things like that. And obviously things that are where we're not meant to. This isn't like we're not meant to be punched in the face, right? Even the trained fighter, we're not meant to be punched in the face, right? Like our faces aren't made to get beat up all the time, right? It's not like I don't know, but unbelievable knockout. Obviously, probably got KO of the night. Is up there already in the running for KO of the year. So yeah, fantastic win by Alexa Grasso. And look, Macy Barber's young. She's a dog. She just has to fix a few things, man. And it comes down to a lot of times it comes down to IQ. And if you're good with the IQ, you could find ways to win. Even if everything else doesn't always come together, you could find ways to win. And I think if Macy Barber pieces together the IQ with her skill set, she'll be able to go very far. She just has to get it all together. Like I said, she's still young. She got time. She could figure it out. She's fighting top level competition regardless. You know what I'm saying? Like she's fighting the best of the division. So and you see, I had to spark the joint back up for this one because we go from talking about Macy Barber needing to have the IQ to be able to get the W that she can, to be able to get the W's that she needs to succeed. When you talk about IQ, we got to talk about Israel Adesanya's IQ. What happened? Look, the thing about Izzy that confuses me, right, is a lot of people try to make it seem like, oh, okay, he's on a 4-fight losing streak now. Here we go with the Tony Ferguson comparisons, the Bam Tuivasa comparisons. Like I get it, right? But Izzy's is different. Izzy's is a lot different because you're literally watching him beat Joe Pyfer. He's beating Joe Pyfer in the fight. He's beating him with the leg kick. For some reason, he abandons the leg kick. He was working it the whole night, right? And it was working. Joe Pyfer was not digging that leg kick at all. That is also a reason why the fight was forced to the ground. That is why Joe Pyfer closed the distance and shoot. Izzy was not picking him apart the way that Izzy usually does, but Izzy was winning from the outside. And all Izzy needed to do was maintain the distance. And if he can maintain the distance, work the leg kick, work the jab, how many finishes have we seen that man get just from that slight bit, just keep adding up from leg kick, jab, leg kick, jab, leg kick, jab, leg kick, jab, all of a sudden, knockout. All right, he did it to Paulo Costa. So it's almost like the best version of Izzy that you could see, right, was the championship Izzy, right? Then Champ Izzy loses to his basically his kryptonite in Alex Pereira. But then finds a remotivation, not for the belt, not for holding reign over the division, finds a new motivation to let me finally get this L, not necessarily erased from the career, but let me get this name, right? Let me get one over this guy. I got to get one over him, and that's all I need. Right? Some guys are like that, and I feel like that is exactly what happened with Izzy. He needed to just get that one over on Alex Pereira. He needed to get that win. He got his win, and it wasn't a decision. It wasn't a boring win. It was a unbelievable KO finish, nasty, with him doing his whole thing at the end, right? Like his whole kind of little taunt thingy that he did, like memorable. So it's perfect. It's perfect. He almost could have just retired off that, right? And just floated off into the sunset. But instead, he gets booked to fight Dricus. Dricus gets injured, so he ends up fighting Sean Strickland. And Sean Strickland ends up beating him in a 5-round decision. Picked him apart in a 5-round decision. No one expected that, right? Out of all things, you're like, oh, okay. Right, you're going to watch him go against somebody who is another known striker who's not as powerful as Alex Pereira. Izzy just knocked out Alex Pereira cold, like flatlined him cold. You're thinking, all right, Sean Strickland's going to try to stand in front of him. Izzy's going to pick him apart. And at first it was kind of like that. As soon as Sean dropped him, everything changed. And I think this is one of those that, like, those two fights are huge, right, in the confidence realm for Izzy, because the loss to Alex, it was a motivator, right? It was a motivator, and he comes back, gets the win against Alex, and that's it. He hits his peak. He hits his peak. He hits his best moment, a moment he's been chasing for so long, right? He has been chasing that since he's been in the UFC, since the one name over him was always going to be Alex Pereira. He's been chasing that. He finally got it, and he hit his peak, right? So he goes in against Sean Strickland and loses against a guy that realistically in the striking category, he should have won that fight. That should not have been a fight he lost. He should have went in there. He should have won that fight with no problem, right? That's what we all expected. But Sean gave him a tough fight, ended up getting the decision win. Now, Izzy took a little bit of a hiatus after that, small little time off. And for him being such an active fighter and an active champion, that's understandable. You know, he had the right to do that, but he comes back and he's fighting another new champion. Instead of coming back, maybe taking a number one contender fight, maybe getting the rematch with Sean to get the title shot, he goes straight to the title shot to an active Dricus du Plessis who is making noise in the division and is now champion. He beat Sean. He beat Rob Whittaker. He's making noise. Izzy goes out there, he's doing really well again on a striking, and then all of a sudden he gets in that position where he's running away from Dricus, and instead of Dricus chasing him with the hands, he chases him, gets him into some sort of trip, ends up able to get the fight to the ground, and gets a submission win over Izzy. And that's another thing. Boom, that just knocked him down again, right? There was a guy right there specifically, two guys back-to-back he did not want to lose to, right? I would say for personal reasons, right? And reasons of the fact that he simply is known to be better than both of them. So him losing to both of them, that's another confidence killer, right? That's a real kick in the gut. And then you go out against Imavov, Imavov's, in my opinion, he's the dark horse of the division, right? You go out there and you fight Imavov, and nobody expected that man to pinpoint a 1-2 right down the middle and flush Izzy out. No one expected that, right? So boom, again, the confidence killer, right? Izzy's known to be fantastic when it comes to the striking. So when you start losing in the realm that you're best at, it ruins the confidence, man. It definitely makes you drop down a little bit. Like, think about this, right? Think if Khabib went out there, right? And when Khabib was in his prime, he was shooting and getting subbed. After being undefeated, he was shooting and getting subbed. He kept getting subbed. He kept getting beaten where he was best at. That kills your confidence, right? Now, just to take away from all the Izzy stuff for a second, I do want to highlight Joe Pyfer never actually being out of that fight, right? Shout out to Joe Pyfer for sticking in the fight, even in the position that he was losing. That man was not looking to go in there and get in a tippity-tap type of fight with Izzy. He wanted to knock Izzy out. He was throwing with bad intentions, man. He really was. He was throwing hard, and you saw that every shot that he did land clean, not that it affected Izzy, but it made Izzy, okay, I got to readjust. I got to reset because, all right, this dude's cracking. Joe Pyfer could hit. I mean, he's known to hit hard, have a harder punch on the punch machine than Francis Ngannou. Now, to me, that really don't mean nothing. We don't know what really that even means. Does Joe Pyfer punch as hard as Francis Ngannou? I don't know. What I've seen is Francis Ngannou touches somebody's chin and they go to sleep. Joe Pyfer sometimes, but Francis Ngannou the majority. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know about that, but you could tell he's one of the hardest hitting middleweights. That's for damn sure. And the middleweight's not, the division is not stacked with heavy hitters at all. So Joe is the heavy hitter in the division, right? Sean's got a little bit of pop in his punches. He's able to get a knockout finish here and there, but he can get a knockout finish from pressure most of the time. It's not really power. Rob Whittaker's not very active right now, and he's really not a one-punch KO type of guy, but another guy who, if he puts the pressure on you and he finds the right shots, he's going to end up getting a finish. Dricus is not a power puncher. Hamzat, we already know the champ's a wrestler, heavy wrestler. He can hit, but he's a heavy wrestler. That's his main thing. Imavov, he showed that he can crack against Izzy, but in his other fights, he's really never been putting anybody out like that. Brendan Allen's not much of the knockout punch kind of guy. Fluffy Hernandez, you don't get the nick. You can't be called Fluffy Hernandez. There's no way you punch hard. Let me rephrase that. Because I bet you if he punched me in the jaw, that shit would make a difference. But, I mean, he don't look like he the KO puncher. And he's got the nickname Fluffy. That just don't work. They you know what I'm saying? But either way, RDR is not much of a knockout guy. Bo Nickel's not much of a knockout. You know what I'm saying? Like, your top middleweight's not much of a knockout artist. But Joe Pyfer, he's bringing that excitement to that division. I really, truly believe that. Now that we're seeing a lot of the old guard get passed in the division, Joe Pyfer is going to be the excitement of the division. So, I mean, like, we sit here and we talk about, is Izzy washed? I see a lot of people saying that Izzy is. I don't think Izzy's washed. I think just the thing with Izzy is the confidence. He needs a confidence booster. I don't even know who the fight is to be a confidence booster, right? Because everybody's a threat on the ground. And if Izzy's going to be easily taken down, that's just what guys are going to go in there and do, right? He might be best off fighting maybe RDR. He might be best off, you know, because RDR is not always going to shoot, and there are ways to stuff RDR's takedowns. And I think Izzy could piece him up on the feet. I don't think the awkwardness is that big of a thing. Or, you know, maybe him versus MVP, right, at middleweight. You just get a striking matchup. It would be a main event, maybe something, you know, that would be exciting for fans to see. But he needs a confidence booster, man. He needs to get something back, and he can't win by decision. He got to win by KO. I know a lot of people are trying to write him off after this, and I get it. I get it. We've seen it happen with Tony. We've seen it happen with BJ Penn. We've seen it happen with so many people, right? A lot of former champions right now are on a downfall. Jan Blachowicz is on a losing streak. Jamal Hill is on a losing streak, right? So it happens. It's just that simple. It happens. But also, Izzy don't have nothing left to prove either. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have to come back. If he chose to retire, it's cool. But he seems like the type of guy that would like to retire on a win. But either which way, you got to give props off to Joe Pyfer. Joe Pyfer never let up in the fight. He kept pushing. Even when Izzy was winning in certain spots, Joe Pyfer kept trying to find ways to get the W, and he ended up, you know, doing exactly that. So good win by Joe Pyfer. I don't know what you do next for Joe Pyfer, though. I don't know who's next, right? You got a lot of weird stuff up at the middleweight division on who's next. You know, you got Sean and Hamzat is now the next fight. Imavov is sitting there in the realms. I don't know what Imavov is doing. You got Kyle Barallo sitting in the realms. I don't know what he's. You know what I mean? Like, maybe that's it. Maybe Joe Pyfer versus Kyle Barallo. Imavov's got to be the backup fighter or something for the Sean and Hamzat fight, though, because, like, there's no fight for him to take. Any fight he takes, he's fighting backwards. You know what I'm saying? He has to fight forward, so why would he fight? He's not going to fight backwards. Unless he was fighting Sean or fighting Dricus, those are the only two fights that would make sense for him if he's not fighting for a belt. So, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe Joe Pyfer comes back and he fights Dricus on Dricus' return, wherever Dricus is. And he's seen Dricus since he lost to Hamzat. And like I said, the middleweight division, it's not booming right now. It's not booming. It needs some help. Needs some help bad. Either more activity or just like a more entertaining top five. No disrespect to the guys in the top five, but it's not an exciting top five. Let's be real. It's not the most exciting. When they go out and put out fights, it's not. I don't know, man. I barely trained for this fight. I had to bury my best friend. My back is broken. It's spinal. But anyways, that's it for this episode. I appreciate you for watching. You already know. If you enjoyed this episode and you're new here, like, comment, and subscribe. Right? That button, it's just one button. You just... you just click it. You know what I'm saying? You don't even have to come. Just click it. You don't even have to watch a video ever again. Just click it. It's a button. That's it. Just click one button. One button. One button. You do it every day to put in your passcode to open your phone. That's all I'm saying. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification button so you know when the next episode is out. And I'll catch you on the next episode. Your boy Bando is out.